tonight, so we're coming to you from Italy, and we're going to make the Italian favorite of margherita pizza. And so we're going to make two. We're going to have one on a regular flour dough, and then we're going to do a little bit healthier option of a whole wheat flour dough. And so Italians enjoy pizza typically for lunch or dinner, or as the pizzeria was designed for, a late night pizza, a slice or full pizza. A typical meal pattern in Italy is a light sweet breakfast, and then with a cafe leche or espresso or cappuccino. And then lunch and dinner are the larger meals in Italy, and they are eaten in multiple courses. And in Italy, typically you'd see pizza as an appetizer, not necessarily as an entree. But many tourists in here in America, we eat pizza as our entree. And my extended family typically eats pizza as an appetizer at family gatherings. So first we're going to start with our dough. This dough has been store-bought and it's been sitting for 20 minutes, but typically if you want to make pizza dough from scratch, you'd make it with yeast, sugar, bread flour, olive oil, and salt. And then you'd also have your warm water to get the yeast to activate. But first you would dissolve the yeast into sugar and water and let it sit for a few minutes. And then you would stir in your flour and olive oil and salt, and then you'd let it sit for a few more minutes. So we're going to get this pizza dough out and ready. You want to put down flour so it doesn't stick to the countertop or what you're cooking it on. And then you also want to put flour on your rolling pan so it doesn't stick to the dough and rip it. This out. And we also use olive oil is used as like a staple for everything in Italy as a topping throughout cooking and baking. Okay, I'm just going to add a little bit of olive oil just so it doesn't stick. And then you don't want, depends on how thick you want it and how many people you're serving. I like mine crispier, and so I tend to do mine on the thinner side. So you just break it out, and then we're going to get a pan. Typically we would do it on a stone circle table, but since we didn't make this totally from scratch, we kind of cut corners a little bit. So you're going to spread it out. The way that we do it is usually in a rectangle, just because it's easier to serve as an appetizer. You can just spread it out and mold it to however big you want it. All right, that looks good. So we're going to let this cook for about 10 minutes just because I said before I like it crispier. So we cook the dough by itself first, and then we'll add our ingredients. And while we let this cook for about 10 minutes, we're going to get our ingredients and toppings on set. So we have the oven preheated to 325. The setting that the oven is on, we go a little bit 25 less. So it's technically supposed to be at 350, but with this oven we go lower. We have this one ready, so we'll get the ingredients ready. Okay, so in the summertime we usually just go to our garden and get basil leaves and tomatoes, but it's really cold and not in season, so we got some stuff from the store. I'll get these ready. And what's actually interesting is we have our family sauce that we had frozen and let defrost. And our family's recipe here, our family recipe, since we're from southern Italy and Sicily, our sauce is sweeter And so we have more sugar and sweeter tomatoes that kind of offset the acidity, and just kind of to offset the acidity from all the tomatoes. So a little trick to cut the tomatoes and make it look nice, because Italians are all about presentation, is to use a serrated knife. So we're going to cut these into thin slices. Since we're making a margherita pizza, we don't want them too thick and too heavy that they're going to make the dough soggy. So we'll cut it out. And so a little bit about the family sauce is we saute our garlic and our onions and garlic in olive oil first, and then we start adding like a tomato paste and diced tomatoes, and the San Marzano tomatoes are the sweeter plum tomatoes that really give it that sweet, kind of not as acidic taste and bitter taste that kind of sauces from the northern area would have. And so once we let the dough cook for about 10 minutes, I like to add a little bit of sauce on it to make sure that a crust is forming. So I'm going to grab, here it is. I'm bringing this over here. So this is our whole wheat crust. We're just going to add a little bit of sauce on there. This was a really big one. But, so I have this on here, and then we'll put it back in the oven for about, since it's already been cooking for 10 minutes, we'll put it back in there for another 10, because you want it to cook for a total of 20 minutes. And what I usually do is, because the tomatoes are so liquidy and you don't want them to dry out if you cook them for the full time that the pizza is supposed to be cooking. You want them still to be crispy. But we also, since we're going to put some basil on it too, we don't want the basil leaves to dry out and get all wet. Okay, so I'm going to put this down actually. We don't put too much tomato sauce on it, but this, oh, we gotta get, I'll actually put down some other cheese first. Grab that out. Okay, so we'll put this in there. Since it's a margherita pizza and we do the red sauce and it's not a total white sauce pizza, oh, I didn't even tell you that piece of cheese. So red pizza is with the marinara sauce and white pizza is with strictly just olive oil. And since we do pizza with the red sauce, we don't put as much cheese on it as you normally would with a pizza that just has olive oil. So we'll do this. We'll get our tomatoes on. And we are all about presentation too. So I'll put these in a nice order on here. We'll get our basil leaves. Lunch these off. Okay. So I'll put these on, make it look pretty, and then we'll put it back in the oven, and then we'll be ready to serve. So, let's see, do you want to zoom in here and on the pizza? Okay. And I would like to say thank you to my brother who is filming this, and he's going to enjoy this as soon as it's done, which will be in the next 2 minutes. Thank you.